Okay, I got a 2012 Mini Cooper S R56 model. Went through the car wash and this happened. We're gonna replace this. Let's fix it. Okay, so all I've done, I pulled this gasket, just slides right off. Look, I mean, it just slides right on there. Somehow. Slides on there. I pulled this out so I could see in there. And what I could see was that, not very much, to be honest. You can see the back side. Look, if you look on the antenna mount, there's going to be these plugs right here, right? There's this metal part, and then there's this bolt. So as I look in there, I don't see this bolt. I see just these two connectors. So that's what I'm seeing through this hole. And I don't want to move this much more than it's moved already because I feel like I'm going to break something. So what I think is this liner here, if I can get this off, and I think if you just kind of like start, yeah, look at that. Now hopefully I can get into here, and there's a bump right here. I think where I need to get is into that bump. Okay, I'm inside the car. Got a flashlight here. Let's look underneath this light. See if we can see anything. There's the wires from the antenna. You see that? That's the base of it. Now it's behind a metal wall here, and look, I already creased this a little bit. You see that? My headliner. Luckily you can't see it here that I can tell. And then back over here, do you see that? That's the other connectors mounted. So I have to get to those, and I have to get the nut off of the bottom of that base. So I have this tool. Let me see it, buddy. This is just like, I got it from Harbor Freight. It just has these adjustable heads, and it's real skinny and long. And then I put what number is this? This is a 3/4, but I'm sure it takes like a millimeter type size, but I don't have that. So we're gonna do it with this, all right? Just so you know, when you reach in and you get a hold of this bolt, if you start doing it by your hand, see, it won't come out of the roof. This is actually, this bracket is holding it tight, the antenna base tight against the car, right? So as you tighten this grips it up again. So I was afraid I was gonna lose this bolt. I came out here and played with it, and look, like the bolt's connected to this bracket, and then the wires, at least those two, are run through here. So I'm not gonna lose it, and it'll channel. There's a little thing there to help you to get it channeled back in when you put it back on. So that gives me a little more confidence. I'm gonna reach back in there and see if I can get that nut off. I was able to loosen it with that tool, and it was already really loose. I just slid it in there, got it around the nut, and now, like by hand, I'm just reaching in underneath, and you cannot see anything. I'm so sorry, whatever. And I'm reaching in with my hand and loosening that bolt. Okay, with the confidence that I knew that this bolt wasn't gonna fall down somewhere and I'd never find it again, I just started turning with my hand. Boom, popped right off. So here's the antenna. Look, already coming a little bit loose. So can I? Looks like, yeah, it just popped right up. Here's the antenna base off from a different angle. Also gives you an idea as to the holes in the roof, what they look like. But we're gonna release these two clips. This clip with the brown side, there's just have to pinch those and that'll pull off. And then with this purple pink side, there is you can just kind of push in right here because it clips on in the top. I keep moving the camera, I'm sorry. It clips up here, so if you push this in, it will release that. All right, you can probably do that with your hand. So let me see if I can do this here. All right, I'm back in the car again. We're looking underneath the liner from the, see there's the boot. The trunk, I'm sitting on the seat, they pulled it down. This, I'm sliding my hand into. Can you see that back there? Those are those other two connectors. There you go, you see it a little better. It won't focus, of course not. But those other two connectors, I just pulled on this wire a little bit, and look, that came out. Great, that'll be fun to get back in. Alright, there's one, so apparently I don't have some features. That navigation, probably, I don't have navigation in this car. And then the other one is down below this one. Oh my gosh, if I had the fattest hand. There's the other one down there, you see it? I'm going to try to get that one. Alright, so I was able to get that one. I just reached in there with my fat hands and popped it out of that back brace back there. And there's enough wire on it to pull it to right here. So I don't know if that's going to help me, but I'm going to disconnect this right here and then go feed the other wires back through, and let's see if we can get it reconnected back up. Wish me luck. Alright, so I was able to disconnect them from that brace back there. These are the two other connectors. Okay, so I just reached my fat hands in there and popped them out, and then they came out. And there's actually enough wire to get them to right here, but I don't know if that's going to help me or not yet. One thing I did notice is that this connector is similar to the one that was up top, to where you have to just kind of squeeze and release, pinch and release to release this connector. We'll release this one, we'll release that other one, that blue one right there, and then I'll pull them up through the roof and figure it out. Okay, I was able to disconnect the two wires, the red and black one from inside. I actually only had to unconnect the red one in my car, which just means I don't have some options, I assume. My antenna only has two wires, which this one that I bought has three. Hopefully that doesn't come back and bite me. All right, so look, oh, it comes out. And this other one, play nice, come out. Yes, look, dun, 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 dun. I did it. Now that's pretty broken. So let's, I'm gonna try to replace this rubber, because this rubber is in better condition, even though it's really delicate. Like, be careful with the rubber around here. I'm gonna try to replace it, because this other one that I bought used is hecka beat up. More beat up than this one. So anyways, we'll try to pull this one off first, and if there's no way, because it looks like it's not gonna be easy, then we'll just have new ugly stuff. All right, let's try to do that. This is the replacement one. There's more wires, but I'm gonna still hook it up and see. And I could not get the rubber off of that. I think maybe if you pulled these screws out, then maybe you could take it apart and release it, because it looks like it's kind of pinched between two layers and it's glued on there. So I wasn't having any luck pulling that off without destroying it. So we're gonna go with this one. Like that. The new one's on. We are back inside the car. And if I pull this down a little bit, look. It was like magic. The wires went right back to where I need them. So what we're going to do is connect the right ones back up. Red wire to red wire, I assume. And the black, nothing else was really connected other than those two that we've already done up through the roof. And then I'm going to work on getting that sucker right there back onto the bolt so it's nice and taut. Okay, so I'm going to get these reconnected. I'm going to try to get them back into that. Honestly, if I can't, then I won't. And then we'll put that bolt back on. I got one of those back in. See that one there? I got that one back in. The other two I just left floating in there because, yeah, I think taking the liner off would make this way easier. But I don't know how hard it is to take off the lining. Maybe you want to research that. I'm doing it without taking off the lining. So let's get this bolt back. So I just have my hand in there upside down, and that was actually pretty easy to get that on there, being that I already knew what it looked like because I was looking at the other one. Yeah, look at it when you have it out so you can put it back on nice and easy. Now I'm going to get the tool. Let's get back in here. Keep your tools nearby. Oh, don't forget to adjust this little buddy too before you get it in there, so it's going the right way. I'm going in. I'm going in. See back there where it is? And then I'm going to get it to go up and get it on the bolt. I'm going to actually use two hands for this. So let me put I'm just getting it tight. Cinching down. I don't know how tight to go. Not too tight. All right. Ugh, got the tool out. Rattle. Now I need to put this trim piece back in. All right, I snapped that back in. And let's put this trim piece back on. When you're putting this back on, there's three sections. There's this outer part that goes on the outside of the car to keep the water out. There's a middle part that goes in between the two sections, and then there's this third part that goes on the inside. So when you're putting it together, you need to make sure that you get this on the outside, this on the inside, and this in the middle. Just going through and making sure this seal is all snug. I just kind of worked up the sides and then I met in the middle, and that seemed to work pretty good. Everything's nice and tight. There it is. It looks straight. Straight's good. And it's tight. I'm moving it around and it ain't moving. And in fact, the seal around there kind of fixed itself a little bit. This was staticky before. Not staticky anymore. All right, there you go. There's my video of how to replace that. And I would suggest, if you're brave, I'm not, to remove the headliner, because that would have made that way easier, but then the headliner would have been maybe a nightmare. So I chickened out and I did it the way we did it. Anyways, hope that helps somebody. Peace out.